Throughout Christian theology and medieval demonology, hell has been portrayed as a realm of eternal torment, where damned souls endure perpetual suffering. Yet these condemned spirits do not suffer alone. They share their eternal prison with beings of tremendous power and malevolence, demons. Among these fallen creatures, 7 stand supreme as the princes of hell, each embodying and governing one of the 7 deadly sins. Belphegor, the Lord of Sloth. The demon prince Belphegor presents one of the most intriguing cases of angelic fall. Unlike his brethren who actively chose rebellion, Belphegor's descent into darkness came through inaction. Originally known as Belphegor, he held the esteemed position of archangel in heaven's hierarchy. When Lucifer's rebellion erupted across the celestial realm, Belphegor made a fateful choice, or rather, the absence of one. He neither stood with the rebellious angels nor defended heaven's gates with the loyal host. This spiritual apathy proved his undoing, as divine justice deemed his inaction a form of betrayal. Cast into hell, his very nature became an embodiment of the sin he had demonstrated: sloth, eternal laziness, and spiritual acedia. Azazel, herald of wrath. The fall of Azazel represents one of the most significant corruptions in biblical mythology. Originally counted among heaven's angels, Azazel's transgression went beyond mere rebellion. According to ancient texts, he was among the watchers who descended to earth, consumed by desire for mortal women. This unholy union produced the Nephilim, giant hybrid creatures whose very existence violated divine law. The consequences of Azazel's actions proved catastrophic. His descendants, the Nephilim, brought such corruption to the world that divine intervention became necessary, manifesting as the Great Flood. This cataclysmic purification swept away the tainted bloodlines, but Azazel's punishment was far more severe. Transformed into an archdemon, he became the embodiment of wrath, his former angelic nature twisted into an eternal rage that burns through hell's 9 circles. Mammon, the corruption of wealth. Unlike many of his fellow princes, Mammon's origins lie not in fallen angelhood, but in humanity's own creation, the concept of wealth itself. Originally worshipped as a pre-Christian deity associated with earthly riches, Mammon's transformation into a demon prince reflects Christianity's complex relationship with material wealth. Jesus himself specifically condemned the worship of Mammon, declaring that no one can serve 2 masters. You cannot serve both God and Mammon, Matthew 6:24. This divine pronouncement elevated Mammon from a mere concept to a spiritual adversary, the demon prince of greed. In medieval theology, Mammon became depicted as a tempter who whispers promises of wealth and power, leading souls away from spiritual treasures toward material damnation. Beelzebub, Lord of Gluttony. Beelzebub represents a fascinating synthesis of various religious traditions. His identity merges Baal, the ancient Semitic god of fertility and storms, with the concept of the Lord of the Flies, the literal meaning of Beelzebub. This amalgamation created one of hell's most formidable princes, second in power only to Lucifer himself. As the demon of pestilence and corruption, Beelzebub's domain extends beyond mere physical consumption. His endless hunger symbolizes the all-consuming nature of sin itself. The plagues and diseases associated with him devour not just flesh, but hope, faith, and purity. This insatiable appetite made him the natural choice as hell's representative of gluttony, though his influence extends far beyond mere physical excess. Asmodeus, the Prince of Lust. The origin of Asmodeus provides a unique narrative in demonic mythology, as he represents the transformation of human evil into supernatural malevolence. According to tradition, he was originally the king of Sodom, a city whose name became synonymous with depravity. Under his rule, Sodom descended into such depths of moral corruption that it drew divine wrath, resulting in the city's legendary destruction. Yet death did not end his influence. Upon entering hell, his extraordinary capacity for corruption earned him elevation to demon prince status. As the embodiment of lust, Asmodeus continues his work of moral degradation, now with supernatural power to complement his human cunning. Leviathan, the depths of envy. Among the demon princes, Leviathan stands apart in both form and origin. Described in the book of Job as a monstrous sea dragon of incredible power, Leviathan represents chaos incarnate. Unlike the other princes who primarily tempt through subtle manipulation, Leviathan's influence stems from the primal fear it inspires. This cosmic terror became associated with the sin of envy through its representation of the chaos that lies beneath the surface of creation, always threatening to emerge and destroy the order above. Just as envy corrupts from within, Leviathan lurks in the depths, its very existence a challenge to divine order. Lucifer, pride's perfect expression. At the apex of hell's hierarchy stands Lucifer, the morning star, whose fall from grace represents pride's ultimate consequence. As the most beautiful and gifted of all God's angels, Lucifer possessed qualities that made him second only to the divine. Yet these gifts proved insufficient for his ambition. He desired not to serve in heaven, but to rule. This supreme act of pride, the attempt to elevate oneself to divine status, led to cosmic war. Though commanding a third of heaven's angels, Lucifer's forces fell before the archangel Michael's loyal host. Cast into hell, Lucifer transformed from the brightest of angels to the prince of darkness, his beautiful form corrupted by his inner darkness. The eternal conspiracy. Together, these 7 princes form a dark council in hell's depths, each working to corrupt humanity through their associated sins. Their ultimate goal extends beyond mere torment of damned souls. They await the final days when, through the Antichrist, they hope to challenge heaven one final time. Their influence manifests in subtle ways, each prince working through human weakness to expand their dominion. Pride, wrath, envy, lust, gluttony, greed, and sloth. These 7 deadly sins represent not just moral failings, but active spiritual forces working toward humanity's downfall. This cosmic struggle continues unseen, with the princes of hell watching, waiting, and working to corrupt God's creation until the final battle prophesied in Revelation. Until then, they remain powerful objects of theological contemplation, reminding humanity of the spiritual warfare that rages beyond mortal perception.